Jews think of special numbers, Jewish numbers, with mystical meaning. We think of the number 7, most often the 7 days of the week, Shabbat, the sabbatical year, 18, Chai, meaning life, the 5 books of the Torah. Many numbers hold powerful meaning in our tradition, and one of those powerful numbers, and one that has provided much grist for the mystic's mill, is the number 50. 50 plays a very significant part in this week's Torah portion, Behar. In chapter 25 of Leviticus, we're given 2 very interesting and important biblical laws. The first is the sabbatical year, the law that teaches us that 1 out of every 7 years, all agriculture in Israel will cease. The land will be left untilled. It's literally a Shabbat for the land. Just as human beings and animals deserve a day of rest on the 7th day, so the earth too gets to rest on the 7th year. God's reminding us that it really is only God that can claim ownership over this creation. We never truly own a parcel of land or really any other physical possession. We're just temporary stewards with responsibility to take care of that land during the brief tenure of our stewardship. But when it comes to the next law, this is the law of the Jubilee year, the Yovel. And this law teaches us that every 50 years, there's a kind of sabbatical, a Sabbath of Sabbaths that takes place. And the Jubilee year, the 50th year, has 3 main features. The first is that, again, the land is to lay fallow as it does during the sabbatical year. The second feature is that all of the land that was sold during the previous 50 years reverts to its original owners. And the third feature is that all Hebrew slaves must be set free on the 50th year. So let's look at the strangeness of that number 50. Where does it come from? It's not a multiple of 7. It's not that we are to observe this Jubilee at the end of 7 sabbaticals. That would be on the 49th year. It's this extra year added to this whole cycle that's so special and different and kind of puzzling. The mystics among our people have always enjoyed this Torah portion because of the numbers and the many different levels of meaning. But of all of them, there's something uniquely curious and challenging about the number 50. One beautiful mystical interpretation is that there are 50 gates of knowledge in the Torah. And every time that we have one of those experiences of seeing a sentence or a word and understanding it in a new way or understanding it for the first time, then we've gone through one of those 50 gates. Some of you here gather regularly every Shabbat, and through your studies you're fortunate enough to perhaps have had the experience of regularly opening these gates and finding out these new and wonderful lessons. The mystics further tell us that once a gate is opened, then you immediately are led to the next gate, standing before the very next one. So we use our intellect and our emotional intelligence, our ability to reason and think and argue and discuss and surmise, and we work our way through one gate after the other after the other. We're told that at Sinai, we were given 49 keys to these first 49 gates. But the 50th gate, for the 50th gate, we're given no key. We're just given a hint. There's a story of a rabbi who came into a house of study and saw one of his students there seemingly in a trance, and he was shaking and he looked confused and very fearful. And the rabbi went up to him, tapped him gently on the shoulder, and pulled the boy out of his stupor. And he said, "You reached the 49th gate, didn't you?" And the student said, What are you talking about? And the rabbi explained to me, said that each of the 49 gates are based on intellect and emotion. That we can work our way through each of those gates one at a time. The keys are more or less available to us with enough work. Someone of great intellect will perhaps move more quickly through the gates than others. Someone who's emotionally sophisticated will move more easily through some of the gates than others. But only until the 49th gate. But you have hit the 50th gate, haven't you? To which there is no key. That explains your fear and your confusion and your trembling. You're expecting to move to the 50th gate in the same way that you moved through the first 49, but that's not going to happen. The 50th gate, he said, is the gate of faith. And the only way to get through that ultimate gate is to let go of things intellectual. You have to relinquish things emotional. Then maybe you'll allow yourself to be drawn through the 50th gate, because you can't make it happen. What's on the other side of that gate? A question for all of us to ponder. Maybe some of you have been there yourselves. Maybe some of you have had moments where you've glimpsed the other side of the 50th gate. Last summer, when we were still easily planning such things, there was a lovely couple in my office, and we were talking about their upcoming wedding. One member of the couple was getting married for the very first time at a rather late age, later than most. And this person said, I never thought that I'd find someone. I never believed that it would happen to me. I felt that it was just a part of life that I'd never experienced. Yet apparently on one very special evening, they let go of old preconceptions, let go of using intellect and emotional tools that moved this person through life up until that point. And for some inexplicable reason, letting go of all the usual ways of mind and heart and allowing for a simple moment of faith, when all else was suspended, and it was just this open human being, this openness to believing in something that was unknowable. The kind of love that was never expected, the type of relationship that they believed was impossible, came to be a reality. A friend of mine told me another story that perhaps many of you can identify with. She had been moving along in her life through a career that really brought no satisfaction. She didn't feel it had any meaning to her. It was a dead end for her. But her intellect and her emotions told her that it was too late to change, that there was really nothing else that she would be that good at, nothing else she could do. Yet at a chance meeting, a new job in a new field was offered to her. And again, she was convinced she couldn't do it. Emotionally, intellectually, she thought, I couldn't learn all that one had to learn to be good in that new profession so late in life. But for some mysterious reason, there was this moment where she just let go of everything. She let go of the things of her mind and her emotion that they were telling her that you can't do it. And she took a leap through that gate. She let herself be drawn through that gate, and a magnificent new world was opened to her, one in which she's found unparalleled satisfaction and success and happiness. Sometimes along the way, some of us are blessed with an opportunity to take a leap through that 50th gate. Sometimes our most important experiences in life come when we find ourselves expertly passing through the first 49 and then facing the magical 50th. And the mystics tell us, don't look for a key forged of intellect or carved by emotion, for such a key does not exist. They teach us that there is a time to let go, to simply believe in irrational possibilities, to simply believe in ourselves, to believe in our God, to relinquish control. And if we are very, very fortunate, we may just discover what lies beyond the 50th gate. To be human, to be part of a community, to have friendships, to have family, to be any one of those means that there's someone in our circle who could use the strength and help that comes from a Misha Berach, that comes from a prayer for healing. We always have to remind ourselves when we sing these beautiful words that, yes, we hope that these words make their way to the heavens, but at the same time, these words have to wake up within us the reality that we need to visit the folks who are ill, that we need to call, that we need to be present, that we need to somehow reach out to them. Because knowing that others are reaching out for you, reaching in your direction, thinking about you, imagining your face, saying your name out loud does indeed bring healing. So I invite you now to take a moment to say out loud the names of the people you love and who need to heal, and then we'll sing together the words of Mishaberach, page 33.